in the Houston area, I have a guest that's zooming in, and we're going to be talking about an event that's taking place next week. Hey, how you doing? What's your name?
How are you guys? I'm Cameron Smotherman.
All right. If somebody hasn't met you before, where do you train out of, and what do you have going on?
I train out of Metro Fight Club, out of O Athletic, and have a fight coming up next Friday, February 11th.
So Friday, February 11th is for Fury Fighting Championship, and you're fighting a guy. His last name is Casper. I seen the poster. I am not familiar with him. Have you found any information? Is he a Houston guy, or do you know anything about him?
I don't know where he's from, but I do know that this is a fight I should walk right through. He has pretty good skill level, but he's still 3-7. So
Yes. So how are you expecting that fight to go?
I'm expecting him to be tough and in shape, but I'm planning on getting him out of there. Ideally in the first round, late into the first, early into the second, something like that.
So yeah, first round finish for you, and that's going to be next Friday. If somebody wants to attend, I believe they can go to FuryFC.tv. You can get tickets
Mm-hmm.
that way, and then also it's streamed all over the world on UFC Fight Pass. You know,
Right.
Fury has grown so much, even like in the last 2 years, right? What do you think
Yes.
about having that opportunity to fight for Fury?
Oh, it's definitely a huge opportunity. When I first started fighting Fury as an amateur, I didn't expect them to get as big as they are now. Seems like every card, the quality's rising. So that it's actually, kind of surprised me by how good of a card they can produce time and time again.
So Fury, the event's taking place on Friday. The next day, the UFC is having their event in Houston. I mean, you really don't know who's going to be at that fight, or I mean, have you heard anything about it? Is Dana White going to be there?
Um, all I've heard is that some important people will be there. So if that's Dana or if that's Sean Shelby, I'm not sure. But I have been told that some important people will be there and important eyes will be watching.
Does that change anything about your preparation or how you feel going into this?
Oh, absolutely not. I treat every single fight like it's a UFC title fight. Basically, I take it extremely seriously.
Yes. So I watched your last fight because it is on UFC Fight Pass. I wasn't able to make it, and that was in the fall. I believe it was Fury 50, and there's some highlights that are all over the internet. What happened in that fight, and what did that fight mean to you?
Um, Fight came out. It was pretty. It was a rocky start, but once I got it going, I was able to knock that guy out. Pretty sweet. It was a tough camp for that fight because my coach actually passed away like a couple weeks before the fight. It was hard. Because he was sick going into it, or he was sick for a while, and then he ended up passing from COVID all in the middle of this camp, and really it's the start of the camp before that as well. But to be able to gut it out and dig through, that was it meant a lot to me. It proved a lot to myself. I always thought that I could do something like that, but actually doing it, it just reassured me that I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right things.
Were you going into that fight looking for the knockout?
Um, I'm going into every fight looking for the knockout in the sense how when I'm fighting, I'm not just like, oh, okay, I gotta knock this guy out, I gotta knock this guy out. I just wait for it to come, but I'm planning on knocking everyone I fight out.
And you got the bump box. Do you use that?
Mm-hmm.
Where's it at?
Oh yeah, it's right in the living room right now. So when I'm feeling a little froggy, I'll put it up to the max settings.
At the max settings. Are you looking
Yeah.
to collect maybe a couple more this year? How many more times would you like to fight?
Um, I'm planning on fighting every other month. If some fun slips in, maybe every month, but at least 6 times. I like to stay busy.
And what's I guess, the overall goal for your career?
Try to get to the UFC, of course. But mainly the overarching goal is to make some money for sure.
I mean, even whenever you make it to the UFC, you'll see some of these stories and how much investing of your time and your money goes into training. Even whenever
Mm.
you make it, you still haven't 100% made it. What are
Oh
your
yeah.
thoughts on that?
No, I mean, luckily for me, I get to basically ride in the passenger seat of Adrian and watch the things he has to go through, the things he has to do, at the level he's at, and he's a rising contender. He's a becoming a big name in the community. But with that being said, he still isn't in a place where he can just retire and never fight again if he wants to, even though he has 4 fights and 4 finishes, and he got the bonus in every fight. So it's like I know that once I get there, then it's like the race is just now starting. So I'm trying to get to the starting line is how I see it.
That has to be a benefit, being able to train with guys like that are in the UFC and seeing that process of what is possible, with the work that he's put in and the work you're putting in, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think Leo Mana, that's another one of your teammates. He's fighting the next day after the Fury event as
Mm-hmm.
well. How do you see that fight going?
Yeah. That's a tough fight. The guy he's fighting has really good wrestling, but Leo's dangerous everywhere. He can finish you with a kick, a punch, and a knee. It doesn't matter. He has like all the shots. So I can see that fight being as tough or as easy as he makes it.
How long have you been fighting? How did you get into combat sports?
I've been fighting now for about 2 years or so, and I got in. I had a friend that whenever we were in high school, he was already training. He would always tell me that I should come work out with him. I should come train with him. And I didn't like fighting. I had no interest in it, whatsoever. So I was just like, yeah, sure, brushing them off. And then eventually one day, when I went off to college, I got so bored that I was like, you know what? Let me give this a shot. And ever since then, I've just been stuck in the cycle.
Was that first experience, was it at Metro Fight Club or was it somewhere else?
Oh no, it was somewhere else. It was a small gym near Dallas called North Texas MMA, and yeah, I went in and I think that day we were just like doing nothing but low kicks or something, and the coach was like, "Man, look at this kid. He's so good. He's so good." And I was feeling all high and mighty. I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I am pretty good, huh? I'm a natural." And so then when I went back the next day, I was like, "Can I spar?" And they're like, "Oh no, you're way too green to spar." And I was like, "No, I want to spar. I want to spar." And then I ended up with a concussion. And I was like, "Okay, I guess I should probably learn how to fight now."
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, but are you a natural? I mean, even with that happening, I mean, anybody can get caught, and it's fun. It was one of your first experiences, but do you consider yourself a natural?
Um, I can definitely say I pick up on a lot of things faster than other people, but at the same time, I do notice that I put more time in than other people. So I don't really know if I'm a natural or if I'm a hard worker or both.
Growing up, did you play any traditional sports, or did you have anything that kind of helped to translate over?
When I was a kid, I played all the little league sports, football, basketball, soccer, baseball. I stopped once I got to like middle school though. So I mean, but other than that, I was really just kind of doing nothing.
What were you going to school for whenever you were in Dallas, that Dallas area?
I was actually going to school for finance, but as soon as I realized I wouldn't, I had a realization one day that I probably wouldn't like working as an accountant or a financial advisor for very long, and I was like, I'll probably end up jumping in front of a train. So I was like, I might as well do this instead. It's more fun.
Man, so are you good with numbers and good with math? Because I've taken some finance classes, and that's just it's not for me.
I'm not bad. No, it's not hard for me. It's hard because I'm not interested. If I'm not interested in something, then I won't even care. I won't put any effort in towards it. So it's hard for me in that sense that if I just don't want to do it, then I won't do it. But actually learning it is pretty easy for me.
Right now with fighting, I mean, how much does it take to get, you're a pro fighter. How much
Mm-hmm.
are you putting in, time wise and training? What does that generally look like for you?
For me, I train twice a day, Monday through Friday. Depending on if it was a rough week or not, I try to get something in on Saturday. Sunday, I usually take that completely off. Unless something just weird pops up, whatever. Someone is in town that I want to work with, whatever. But twice a day, every day. Just, sometimes 3 times a day, but I'm a full-time fighter. I was able to save up some money from a job while I was working, and, just I'm all in on this, and, trying
Yeah.
to make it happen.
What kind of work were you doing?
The worst job ever. Working in a warehouse, no AC, no heater, you know, just shipping and delivering,
Yeah.
getting underpaid. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it,
I did that for one day. It was in Baytown. This was some years ago, and that's no joke. Like unloading these 18-wheelers, they pull them up and
yeah.
unload them, load them up, and you would get paid by the truck or something like
Oh
that.
wow. Well,
Yeah,
maybe if I got paid by the truck, I'd be willing to put more effort into it. But I was getting like, I don't know, it was like $13 an hour. But it was just me. I didn't have any help really. Just I had to do all the loading and unloading, and then I had to do deliveries off of what I loaded up. And it was just like, I was like, this is insane. I don't like, no. So
you know,
that
having
is
having
out.
having a job like that, there's probably a lot of time to think. And during this time you were fighting, what were those things you would think about? Were you thinking about your fighting career, or like what you could be doing instead of that, or what would go through your head?
Of course, every day I'd wake up, I'm like, did I make the right choices in life? Maybe I should have stayed with my finance degree. But overall, I was just like, this is it was almost like a testament to like how dedicated I was. Cause I was like, I could have just done school instead, but I was like, I'm willing to do this because I know I need to save money so that way I can just focus on training. So that's what kind of kept me going, is knowing that if I could just accomplish this, then I'll be able to put more time into training without having to stress about basic expenses.
Were any friends and family surprised whenever you decided to pursue this as a career, or even saying like, "Hey, I'm going to stop going to school and studying this. I'm going to put everything into this, and this is what I want to do right now."
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, my parents, right? They, my entire family actually, they weren't happy. Um, they weren't even happy when I told them I was just gonna start training, let alone fighting. But they're like, no, 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 you're way too smart for this. Like, there's no money in this. You don't need to be getting punched in the head, or like, you grew up too easy. What are you gonna do when somebody that needs to win has to fight you, or whatever. But as they saw how dedicated I was, then little by little they all turned over, and now they're all my biggest supporters.
So in that knockout of the night at Fury FC 50 that took place, it looks like you do have that, like the killer instinct. You can go for the kill. Sometimes I talk to people and I've been told that I don't have that. Like, how you're too nice of a guy. Is that
Yeah,
how you were considered? And I mean, were you able to turn it on, or was that always inside of you?
yeah, no, they saw me as or and it doesn't help that I look like I'm like 15 years old. So they just see me as like just a easygoing, or yeah, I don't have that killer instinct. But for me, I always knew I had it in me. Like, it's just I never had a reason to show it. Outwardly, I'm pretty chill, pretty laid back. I don't let things get to me. But whenever I'm fighting, then yeah, it's like I know I want to finish the fight. I know I want the knockout. I know that's what people want to see. So I train with that in mind all the time, or trying to get the knockout. I'm not necessarily trying to kill my sparring partners, but I'm visualizing the shots I need to put on people to put them out.
Okay, you said you look like you're 15. How old are you?
I'm 24.
24 years old. Do you
Mm.
think that people have underestimated you? I mean, because of that, or for any other reasons, and has that caused a chip on your shoulder?
For sure, people underestimate me. I don't think that that's happening anymore. Because you can Google me now, or whatever. You can look up my fights, but it doesn't bother me. I don't have a chip on my shoulder, but it is something that I know I've had to address in the past, or sometimes even now if guys don't know me. But I wouldn't say I have a chip on my shoulder about it. I kind of think it's funny.
Yeah. How long were you an amateur? How many fights did you have, and how did that career go?
I had, I think, 5 fights as an amateur. I went, I think I went 3-2, and I got to avenge one of my losses. I couldn't get the other guy back, but I got my one loss. So once I got that guy, And I was like, yeah,
It's time.
it's time to go pro. Mm.
So that other loss, did that guy go pro as well?
No, I kind of just dropped off the face of the earth. I don't know what happened to that guy. I didn't even know who he was. It was a weird way I even came across that fight. They kind of it was a Louisiana fight, so it
Oh
was
yeah.
kind of janky. So yeah, I don't know where that guy went, or I never saw him before or after.
We'll have to get him on the phone one day and see if we can get that loss. It's time to turn pro, man. Let's just make this happen. There's some things that need to be
Yeah,
settled,
I
right?
thought about every way possible. That is one thing. I'm a very petty person,
Yeah.
so I want all my losses back, but it's kind of hard to do if they don't want to.
Training over the years, I'm sure you meet people at Metro that come in, want to train, think they want to be a fighter. How many people just once they get hit or they get into that first or second amateur fight, figure out it's not for them?
Countless, countless. I can't even. I literally have lost count of all the guys that they come in and they swear they're so dedicated, and it's like it's almost become jaded now. It's kind of like I'm starting to not even remember people's names because so often guys come in like, oh man, I'm gonna be the next thing. And then as soon as they have a bad day, you never see them again. You never hear from them again. And especially at Metro, it's even worse because we do train pretty hard. So like even fighters come, like we've had so many fighters come in or guys that want to make a comeback, or and they have that one hard day and never see them again.
Has there been something that's allowed you to stick with it? Is there a secret to that, or what have you found that keeps you dedicated?
Um, a part of it is just pride, knowing that there's somebody better than me, or knowing that I got beat up one day, or knowing I need to get that back. Um, and then the other thing is just the drive to want to be better, to do better, to provide better for my friends and family. Knowing that I can change my entire life with just sticking with this. So I just keep showing up because I know that it pays off in the end.
From your last fight till now, has there been a focus of something that you're working on? You're like, hey, this is what I want to improve. I kind of compared it earlier to like if you were playing a video game. I'm not sure if you game a lot, but you got your sliders. Like
Yeah.
if you could slide your sliders up on this area of your game, what would you max out?
I can. In general, I would say, of course, you're always working on everything, but in the biggest focus has been just defense, defensive work on the feet, defensive wrestling, jiu-jitsu, just keeping myself safer, not having so many scary moments that are unnecessary. That's what's been getting me in trouble, is just defense and awareness.
Is that from taking risk or what is it that's getting you there?
Um, I was having a talk with Rafion Stotts a couple of weeks ago, and basically it's almost been a lack of respect for my opponents. Not in the sense that I'm just like overlooking everybody and looking past them, but just in the sense that these guys are a lot more nervous and have a lot more anxiety than I do. Because I look at every fight as just another fight, and these guys are looking at this is a dangerous guy, whatever, he can hurt me, and so they come out guns blazing, and I don't have that. I guess like that, almost that fear of what the other guy can do to me. So I've just been trying to realize that in every fight is dangerous the entire time, and just trying to stay aware of that and keep myself safe the entire time, not being too lackadaisical.
So with everything that's transpired, since your last fight, I mean,
Mm.
how is the training camps? How have they been going? Who's exactly running the gym and what's been going on?
Pretty much. This is Adrian Yanez's program now. He's running everything. I help out where I can, where I need to. So if he has to miss a day or whatever, I'll cover for him. Uh, the way Coach Saw had the gym set up is that it could run smoothly whether he's here or not. So whenever they would go off for fight week, Coach Saul would leave me in charge, and we already had a system in place, so I could just basically follow the blueprint, make slight adjustments here and there. But other than that, the training is relatively the same. So the camps have been running smoothly. We have a strength and conditioning coach at O Athletic. He's been great, Coach Phil. So everything is pretty smooth. Everything's pretty easy.
Did you see yourself? I guess you mentioned Coach Saul putting those things in place. Do you see yourself long term either helping run Metro or having your own gym one day?
I doubt I'll ever open up my own gym, but for as long as I'm in the game, I'll definitely be sticking around, helping out my teammates, helping out at the gym. Just I feel an obligation to. I know that whenever it's time for me to fight, I need help. I need guys showing up. So for as long as I'm, a part of MMA, I'll be helping my teammates out.
Outside of fighting in combat sports, do you have any other goals or something that you like to do to maybe relax? Other things outside of fighting?
I like to play, games here and there. Lately, I've been playing a lot of Switch, Pokemon on Switch, stuff like that. Just whatever I can to just completely get my mind away from fighting and just relax, because it's an everyday thing. So I try to do just the complete opposite things. Love going go-kart and stuff like that. But yeah, nothing. And as long as it's away from fighting, I'll probably try to do it.
So today was a pretty cold day. I think it's still cold. I haven't been outside in a bit, but it was like 28 degrees, like in Houston, and colder some other places. For you, do you like the cold and training in it, or does it mess with you?
Oh, no, I hate the cold. No, I don't think anyone in Houston likes the cold. Really, realistically, 50 degrees is too cold for most of us. No, I hate the cold. I despise the cold. I don't like any extreme elements, really. I don't want it to be too cold or too hot, but I definitely don't want it to be too cold.
Yeah. There's some guys that I follow, and they kind of put out, it's kind of like one of those like humble brags, or like, I got to do it, where it has like the temperature on there and they're running or doing whatever. I'm like, I know there's hundreds of guys here in Houston that are doing that, but I thank God I'm not a fighter, because I'm still at home.
Yeah. The Stay Hard guys, the David Goggins of the world.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
Is there anything else that we haven't talked about yet that you wanted to bring up, or anything you wanted to talk about?
No, not really. Just, come watch me fight if you can, I mean, it'll be online if you can't be there in person,
So Fury
Facebook
57,
Live.
that's taking place February 11th. It's next Friday. You can go to furyfc.tv to get tickets and watch Cameron Smotherman fight. You can also follow him on Instagram, and that's Little Campster.
Yep.
Stay up to date, or you can subscribe to UFC Fight Pass. Hey, thank you so much for making time today. I appreciate you, and good luck to you and your teammates fighting next week.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is KTA.